I saw a LinkedIn post last week, and it was uh, someone had basically said and done a study that there will be eventually billion-dollar companies that will be run entirely on AI, and no human will ever be involved. I thought that was extremely ludicrous, and it just kind of prompted me to think about a few things around AI, the job market with AI and automation, and what people's careers might look like in the future. The other thing that also prompted me to kind of talk about this was I've got a little boy. He's 1.5, and I kind of think about where he's going to be in the future and what his career will be like, and what he will be, what jobs he'll be looking for in 15, 16 years time, when he's going to have to go out to work. And actually even before that, right, when he goes and studies, and what's that going to look like, and all the things that are going to change over the next sort of 10 plus years. There are 5 kind of key things that I wanted to talk about today, around kind of the job market and what I kind of see happening, slash kind of my views and thoughts on it. So number one is that jobs won't vanish. So jobs will exist. Okay, jobs will always exist, in my opinion. They have to exist for an economy to work. What will vanish though is tasks. So most jobs today, typically people are doing 50 to 100 different tasks, right? So you get those tasks, they're all bundled into one person. That one person does a job, and they are, and where we're going to see that change is AI will eat a massive part of this. Okay, they will eat up the big chunks of those repetitive tasks. So research, reporting, admin, the data cleanup, all of that stuff that is mundane, repetitive, very much like very laborious and time consuming. AI will just eat that up, and they will take away those tasks. So then what happens is, I think the human part of the job shifts towards judgment, and it shifts towards relationships and creativity and strategy and owning those outcomes. An AI, certainly at the moment, cannot create a strategy for a business, and the reason it can't do that is because it has no context of that organization. Now, unless you fed all of your business and the history of your organization from the day it was founded to the present day, and every single nuance within that, it's very unlikely the AI will be able to create a strategy. And that's where humans come into it, because they are a human is intuitive. They can look at past ideas and see things that have gone wrong. They understand that, their empathy side of it, so they can have that connection with other human beings, right? And so strategy, and that's a really important part of strategy. So I think the human part of the kind of jobs will now focus on those higher level tasks, and the things that are really going to move a business forward, right? The other thing is, I see job descriptions will move from like responsibilities to outcomes. So the outcome would be like, you own revenue or X or whatever metric, while the AI handles all of the busy work in the background. So where there's going to be a shift here, and it will go towards tasks, is, let's say you had a team of 5 people all doing their kind of, or 5 people within a HR department, and they're all kind of had their tasks that they're doing within HR. What I think will happen is one person will own the outcome of the HR department and the key business decisions and metrics that you measure for a successful HR department, and everything beneath that will just be done by AI. So rather than having a team of 5, you have a team of 1, but that one person owns the outcomes of that. And rather than it being, this is like a responsibility, you will be tasked with, okay, this is the outcome you need to achieve for the business. Okay. And I think this is going to be an interesting shift. I also think the lower level jobs, so admin roles, I think graduate jobs, junior positions, I think they're the biggest at risk, if I'm really honest. I think if I think about my little boy and when he's going to be looking for a job, I just think his skill set is going to have to be 100 times better than the current skill set of junior positions now, because you are competing in going to be a field that is going to be just not diminished, because that's probably the wrong word, but it is going to, AI will just reduce the entry level workforce significantly. And so him going into that, he needs to have a very, very good high leverage skill set. Point number two is the rise of AI, the AI amplified worker. So one person doing the work of 3 to 5 people. As I kind of just mentioned around that HR department analogy, this is like people who know how to design workflows plus use AI tools will massively, I think, outproduce those who don't. So they will have like the same job title, but the output will be really different. And this creates a leverage gap. So there'll be 2 marketers, same salary band, one with a personal AI stack who is 3 to 5 times more effective. And guess who then gets promoted and keeps their job in a downturn? So you kind of have to think like, okay, if you've got these 2 types of jobs, so if you've got these 2 job roles and they're the same job role, they're the same salary bands, they're doing the same thing, but one of them is leveraging AI and is more efficient and more niche in their skill set. So I guess that's another point, is that like if you've got these 2 marketers, you then have marketer A, marketer B. Marketer A, they're amazing at go-to-market strategies and mapping out a market and the total addressable market, and they're brilliant at building that. That is the one thing they do. They become extremely niche in that area. They're amazing at that because they use AI to do everything else that marketing job does. Then you've got person B over here who doesn't use AI and is trying to do everything at once. They end up doing all of those tasks at 10%, rather than going, well, I can get AI to do all these other tasks and I can focus and be 100% on my area of focus and what I'm good at. So I think what's going to happen is that teams will get smaller, but they'll become more powerful. So what you'll get is instead of 10 average performers, you might see like 3 to 4 very, very high performers who are supported massively by AI and automation. So that's kind of point 2. So I think there'll be this idea of one person will just do the job of many, and it will just be a far more efficient, more lean team. The business will save money on headcount. So it's not, those jobs might not disappear, they just won't be created in the first place. And that's another interesting point, maybe for another video. Point 3, I think, is that hiring shifts from just having CVs to it actually having to be you proving that you've done the work. And I don't know 100% where this goes, but my thought process is that AI can write CVs and cover letters better than anyone, right? You get it to do it, prompt it, and it will do it for you. I mean, it can even do most of the design work around it, right? So I think the CV is going to change, and I think companies are going to they're going to have to adapt to how they hire. So I think what happens is that employers will we won't care about what's on your CV because it can be fake. And what they will care more about is like things like portfolios and campaigns that you've run and dashboards that you've built and code that you've created and showcasing deals that you've closed. So I think there's an opportunity, and I don't know how to do that, but where you have to show them, prove that you've done that work. I think that's an important part rather than just being on a CV. The other part of that is like a lot of live problem solving. So I've seen this already, right? Where you've having people interviewed and their person doing the interview has noticed that they're interviewing AI basically. And so I think there's going to be a shift and a lot of change from how we interview people, and actually now bringing people face to face so they can see you're not using AI to do something, and actually then giving you a situation or here's some data and I need you to think out loud and show me how you tackle it, rather than going, hey, go away for 5 or 10 minutes, use AI and then come back. And that's not to say you can't use AI in that scenario, but I think employers should be going, if you're using AI, tell us and show us where you're using AI in that problem solving. So for anyone watching this, I think one of the things you should do now is start documenting and showing your work, because I do think CVs are redundant in my opinion. And I've hired people and they're just absolutely pointless. And when some of the best people I've hired, I've never even looked at their CV because I just don't care. There's no way to vet that CV anymore without doing loads and loads of background checks, without doing loads of reference calls. You will never 100% know whether that person is telling the truth or not. So point number 4, I think new job categories will emerge around AI, and I think this is going to be a big one around. There's going to be a big one around AI governance. So AI governance and security. So as AI gets embedded everywhere, who, like, I don't know, how are you making sure that that AI and automation is safe? How are you making sure, where does that data going? Who holds that data? I've got some amazing contacts in cybersecurity that I've spoken to this topic about, and it was a huge eye opener even for me, just around the all the different components of data and the software you're using and the AI you're using and where that data goes, and I think this is going to be a huge part, and that will then create new jobs. So you will get things like AI governance consultants or something around AI governance, and I even kind of know some people already in that space. You will get things like automation and AI architects and designers and workflow designers. I think you'll get people that are doing like AI operations. You'll get, I think you'll also get like human. I think it'll almost be like human reviewers slash editors maybe of like AI and workflows, because the AI and the automation workflow is great, but then you need to maintain it. And so I think there's this new job where like you'll have someone that is, who sits at the end of this AI pipeline, and certainly in very regulated high risk environments, and they then review that's coming through. So yes, this automation replaces these 5 people, or we can replace these mundane tasks, but then we have to create another job at the end of that in those high risk environments, to make sure that what it's doing is safe, right? I think you'll definitely see, we will see fewer people doing raw grunt work and more people doing like designing, supervising, and correcting those AI driven systems. Even with coders now, and I've never been a coder, but from what I can see at the pace that technology is moving, the need to hire a developer anymore, I feel like, is almost obsolete. You don't need a developer because you can literally go to AI and it will create you something very, very quickly. So I think maybe, again, another conversation for another day. And number 5 is polarization. So this is something that's going to be massive within the kind of AI job markets. In almost every single field, I think there will be 2 groups. Those who treat AI as a teammate and build their job around the AI, and those who ignore it and end up competing directly with something cheaper and faster. And I have a feeling, and where I think it will go, is that the wage gap between those 2 groups will likely widen. And it won't be to do with how smart those groups are. What it will be is it will be because one has leveraged AI and the other isn't. So if you can leverage AI and you understand AI and automation to enhance your skill set, you are going to be more valuable than those who don't. So So I guess then what changes, and I guess this is a kind of a thought, is that it goes from an employer asking you, can you do this job, to becomes, can you design and run a system that does this job with you in the loop where it matters, which is quite an interesting thing. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head. So again, that comes back to my earlier point around like, rather than it being, can you do this job and do all the tasks, can you design a system for us that does this job, and you review it and you be the human in the loop, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, those are my 5 things that I think are gonna, with the kind of AI job market. So I think jobs won't vanish. I think tasks will. There'll be the rise of kind of the one person doing the job of 3 or 5 people. There'll be a massive hiring shift. So from CVs will be obsolete and redundant. I think CVs are going to just slowly phase out, and it will all be around the proof of work and it will portfolios and all that kind of stuff. New job categories will emerge. So AI governance, operators, data, people looking at the data and compliance, human reviewers, those types of jobs. And then there'll be the massive polarization. There will be those who treat AI as a teammate and those who don't. And one of those will get left behind and the other will massively flourish. So let me know what you think in the comments. Where you see kind of AI jobs going. Would love to know and get your thoughts on it. And I'll see you in the next video.